Hi everyone, it's Kristen. I'm an artist and teacher living in Willow Beach, Ontario, Canada, and we're doing a free series on, excuse me, beginners acrylic painting. In this next video, we're going to be talking about how to transfer your image from your photo to your paper or your pre-stretched canvas. So it's just going to be a very short video, and I'm going to show you what to do. So in the last video, I showed you this picture of my husband's family farm. So I'm going to turn it around so you can see. So in this picture, there are some trees, there's a road in the background, there's a dirt driveway with some nice shadows. There's some medium tones, there's some light highlighted areas and some darker tones. So I'm going to lay this down so the back is facing me. So when you lay it down, it's really hard to see the image from this side. So what I usually do is I take my picture to a window, and you will need a pencil. So I'm gonna lift this up a little. All right, so you take this to the window, and from the back, you can see the image in the reverse. So what you want to do is any of the key areas, the major lines and divisions you see in the paper, you are going to use the pencil to go over those areas. So I'm going to go over this road here. I'm going to go over these really nice shadowed areas on the dirt. Okay, there's some branches in the tree here. Any of the major divisions. So if you have some scenery of some clouds or water or tree lines, you want to make sure that you have those horizontal lines that divide each section of the painting. So when you're done this and you've just lightly shaded the back, then you're going to take your photo back down here. Let me just, okay. So you're going to take your photo back down here. Here's my piece of paper. The first thing I'm going to do is lay my photo on the paper here. And I want to kind of make sure it's in the middle. If you want, you can measure it. I'm just going to eyeball it. My image is a little bit smaller, and that's okay because I can always trim the edges later. And then I'm going to take some tape, I think. Oh, here we go. I can never find the end of the tape. So you're going to take some tape and, oops, before you do the tape, learn from my mistakes and make sure that you put a little, go around, put a little mark for where the corners are. Because if you ever have to take the image off or it slips by accident, you want to know where it goes. So I'm going to take this tape and I'm going to lay it down. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. I don't know if you can see this very well. Hopefully you can. So I'm going to tape my image down. I'm just going to, I like to get the thicker tape. You can get all different widths of painter's tape. I just find it's easier, then I don't have to put as many layers on and take them off. So this works for me. I like the green one. There's so many types of painter's tape. Just get a good one so that you can peel it off without it taking your paper with you. Okay, so if you've chosen to use paper, you're going to tape your paper down. Make sure you go along the edge with your finger. So you want to make sure it's firmly applied to whatever your tabletop is. I've got this piece of melamine and I love it. This is what I use. All right, so then you're going to take your image, you're going to put it back where your little marks were. Okay, so now you can either use a pencil. I've been using pencils for years, or you can use this. This is something new I got. My father-in-law gave it to me because he's a carver. So it's a stylus, and really it's just a piece of metal. That way I don't have to leave any marks on my actual original. So anything will work. Sometimes I use a ballpoint pen. Whatever you have that's sharp, that's going to give you a point like a pencil. If you don't want to put graphite on your page, or you can use something to go over your image. So I'm going to just use this stylus. And what I'm going to do, let's see if you can see really well. There's some reflections here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay in those key lines. So there is the road here. So I'm going to draw it in. There's some really nice highlights in here behind the trees. So I'm just going to trace around those. Oh, one thing you might want to do, and I always forget, but I like to just tape my image just slightly down, and then it will flip up and down and you won't have to worry about it moving on you, which has happened to me too many times to count. So there's this nice little grassy area. I'm just gonna kind of trace around it on the driveway, on each edge of the driveway. Nice. You don't have to do a whole straight line. You just want to get the impression of it. There is some nice highlights down here, so I'm just going to trace around those. Doesn't have to be exact. You're just kind of like laying in the lines and shapes. So you can do this as slowly or as quickly as you want. There's this nice little bush of here under the tree, so I'm just going to draw it in a little bit, and there's this wildflowers growing here, so I'm just going to draw around that. And then there's this edge here, so I'm just going to put these little reflections in. Up in here. There's a branch here, so I'm just going to kind of put some dots here so that I know the branches are in here. And that's it. You can add as much lines as you want or as little as you want. And when you lift it up, I'm going to show you this. Hold on. You will see that there will be marks left behind from the graphite that was on the back of your page. So you'll be able to see how you have the image here. So that is your first choice. The other thing you can do, so I can take this up now because I have my marks to put it back on. If you're choosing to use the pre-stretched canvas, you don't need to tape anything down. You can just take your pre-stretched canvas. Again, you can if you can put your piece of paper on it. If you want, you can tape it down a little bit just so it doesn't move around on you. Just put a little bit on the edge. There we go. And that way then you can flip it up as needed when you're transferring. Again, you'll just go around those areas I talked about, hitting all those key lines and shapes in the painting that you want to highlight. So pay attention to where the light areas are, pay attention to where the dark areas are, and make sure you get those in. So I'm going to do that now just quickly. You're going to, of course, take more care in this situation. So I like that. I'm going to put this branch in. I'm going to put this limb in. Again, there's some nice, I'm just making some mark here so I know that those are going to be lighter. I'm going to put this little bush in, this lovely little wildflower area with grasses. That's going to add some nice texture. And then I'm going to lay in the driveway and the road. I think I already did that. See, the thing with you using a pen or a pencil is you get to see the marks that you've made. And then when you're done, you'll have the marks. I can show this on your page that will give you your guidelines. If the marks are not coming off on your canvas or your paper, then you need to go back and put some more graphite on the back. And you can use this image as many times as you want. So maybe you want to do multiple.
Can I ask some screen time?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Real life. So if you want to make the lines a little darker, just use more graphite. If you're finding the lines are coming in a little too harsh, then you can just press a little lighter. And you can just experiment with that technique. This is a technique I learned from an artist that on the studio tour the Images studio tour in he was like in just outside of Barrie, and he taught me a lot about transferring these. I didn't know you could do this, so I used to draw it in. So you can do that too. So if you love to draw, you can just take your image and again, you can look at the image and I just kind of draw in, okay, the road is about there. In the bottom I can do, okay, so the bottom of the street is about here. Okay, and then on this side, the horizon line is right about here. And then you can draw in those lines if you want. So you can draw in the road, you can draw in this little bush area lightly, these little flower area lightly. You can make these little leafy areas here. There's another one about here. You can draw in your road. Yeah, so if you prefer to do that, you can draw some leafy areas in there, and then you have a little bit of some guidelines for where you're going to put the paint. So now that we've transferred our image, whether you've done this with the graphite on the back of your photocopy method or you've just sketched it in lightly yourself, we are going to now mix some colors. So I will see you in the next video. If you have any questions or need help with this process, please contact me and I can help you out. This is going to be a game changer for those of you that don't really like to draw or don't feel confident drawing. Until you improve your drawing skills, or maybe you just want to paint. And so this is the way you're going to transfer your images for your paintings. I hope this works for you. It works amazingly for me. And instead of spending a lot of time sketching, I can really focus on the painting part. All right. See you in the next video.